Okay, and now we are live. And we are live with Star today. Um, of course, we are doing our discussion about lupus. Our lupus warriors are celebrating the whole month of May where we are bringing awareness because there need to be more awareness about this topic. It's not a lot of awareness out there, but I'm so glad that we have the whole month of May to make sure we get it out.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I'm sorry, Star. Like, how old were you when you were diagnosed with lupus?
Okay. When I was riding the school bus back when I was younger, I used to get sick and I would go home
Mhm.
and lay down. I was
Yeah.
diagnosed about 3 years ago, and
Wow.
like as you can see, I have a little spot there and stuff on my hand now.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It affects a lot of stuff. Like right now, every time I go to the doctor or whatever, I have protein in my kidneys and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had IV after IV. I was hospitalized. I could not walk. I had to have home health care coming out to learn how to walk all over again. I lost my memory. It's a lot of stuff that it can cause.
And you said this happened a couple years ago. It started a couple years ago.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow. And name some of the symptoms you said as a kid you were having.
Like when I was on the bus, I don't know if I was just getting too hot or because the sun and the bus don't have air conditioner.
Mm-hmm.
But that's when I started being real sick. I would come home I think I was probably about 9. I would come home and I would have to lay down, and I started passing out and stuff.
Wow. That probably would have been a symptom. Back then, just didn't know. I had another lupus sister on here yesterday, the day before, and her started around the age of 9. She wasn't diagnosed till like 13, maybe, but wow. I wasn't diagnosed to the age of 25, but as I think back, I do know I had some problems as a child, but
Yeah.
nothing about lupus was ever, I never heard of it. Like,
I
I
mean,
only heard, I didn't hear of lupus until I was grown, and I probably heard of like one or two people, that
mm,
then had it. But most of it I knew was like a skin condition. So, what kind of lupus do you have?
I do get the butterfly rash around here
Hmm.
and stuff, and it goes around my nose. The only way I do get in the sun is I wear a hat. My doctor told me to keep sunscreen on and wear a hat.
Yes.
I'm on prednisone for the rest of my life. I have been on like it was some other medication. Let me shut this door. It was some other medication for it was not just prednisone. It was for they call it for cancer, but I don't have cancer, and that made me more sick. And going into the IgG3 and stuff, it's inflammation which can lead to having trouble breathing. And I have a machine at home, and then I have to carry a machine with not the machine with me, but
Hmm.
uh, and I have real bad shaking um and stuff, and I can't hardly breathe.
Wow.
That affected my lungs and airways, and my back is always hurting all the time at the very lower part.
Yes. Yeah. That's definitely a symptom of lupus for sure. I hate you found out so late. Like, I definitely hate you just finding out. I think I've known about my condition for like maybe 13 years now, which I kind of hate I found out when I did during the time. But I'm grateful. Of course, you want to be grateful for the diagnosis because like you said, it could take years. Took them years to find out something was wrong with you. It
Yes,
took them a few years for them to finally diagnose me with lupus. They knew I had autoimmune disease. They thought it was just Sjogren's, but
they thought
well,
they thought I had MS at first, but I didn't.
yeah, wow. Like, it took a couple different doctors I went to that really, like, heard me out. And finally, the last one I went to, he did say I have, lupus. I did have the ANA panel positive and all that, but they were just trying to say I have Sjogren's, which is also an autoimmune disease. But it's like secondary to lupus. Yes. So how do you cope with what you're going through?
I take it one day at a time. I'm a grandma, and when I couldn't walk or whatever, that took a lot out of me because I couldn't play with grandbaby, and I feel like sometimes I feel like I'm a burden.
Yeah.
I
I,
do. Um, Sorry,
I
I
know
got.
what they feel like. I'm so sorry. Take your time. Don't take your time. It's a very sensitive topic, and at the same time, people need to hear it out because everybody don't know what we have to face on a daily basis. Some people be like, "Oh, ain't nothing wrong with you. You're not sick," and they think it's not like an everyday thing, but
It's a
we
every.
don't. Yes, like you never know when it can. It just like maybe sometimes you may feel a little better than you were yesterday or worse than you were yesterday, but it's like you're never 100%, good.
And it's never curable neither.
Yes. If they haven't found any cure, I do have hope though. I definitely have hope, and I feel like things can get better and it can change. But until then, we have to do what we have to do. I felt like I wasn't my best, but I was doing at one point way much better than I am at this moment. I don't know what happened, but it just started flaring up to where I could sometimes feel like I could barely walk, and I think I also have neuropathy in my feet and legs, so that may be what also.
I got that too.
Okay, like you're not the only one. A few others have the neuropathy, so it's like so much all in one that we have to go through. It's not just lupus.
Does it hurt your hands like to wash
That's
dishes?
what I'm going through now. That's why I said I never been through it. Like when
Mm-hmm.
I normally go through my hand pain, it's around the time of the month where my cycle come on. But lately, it's just been every day. Here go my braces. I just took them off. My hand braces. I have to, wear on my fingers and my hands.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to turn a bottle of water. I have to get my fiance to do all that before he leave the house. If he
Uh,
do, I'm messed up.
and do that too. Like if I'm trying to cut like say an onion, I can still cook. It's just I have difficult,
Yes.
ramp up uh
Yes.
and
I'm glad you mentioned this. Yes. I was trying to explain that on a different podcast. It had nothing to do with lupus. I was trying to explain this, they asked, it was about like, well, do I even cook for my fiance or do anything? My fiance understand what I'm going through. So, I'm thankful. We got to have a partner, somebody, people around us that definitely understand it because everybody won't. I've been there and done that. Like, I didn't really have anybody that stood by my side and understood what I was going through. So I always had to like do everything on my own. But now
yeah,
that I have him, he kind of understands. So it's times I can't. If he wants something to eat, I tell him, you got to cut it up and I cook it.
yeah,
But my hands, I can't chop, turn things right now. So he kind of
exactly.
understands. He's seeing more. So it's I'm happy you mentioned that. Did they give you any other diagnosis about your hand?
They said arthritis too. That's a big factor that plays a big.
Osteoarthritis for me, they said. And I'm like, feel worse than osteoarthritis. I be thinking I have RA sometimes, rheumatoid arthritis. That's what I be thinking. But they say they said it's the osteoarthritis and it's all over my body.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it could bother any of your joints, whether your ankles.
Another thing the doctor says to get my eyes examined every year because of the medication.
Yes. So that's one reason I kind of got myself weaned off of it. I feel like I was having more eye trouble, after it. Like to me, by me being on so many medications, I didn't know what was going on. Like I don't know what's part of lupus and what's part of the medication. So I
Mm-hmm.
had to kind of slow myself down. Right now I'm doing all plant based right now, and herbal supplements, different things, because I was on a lot of medication, and it was causing me a lot of problems. Also trying to take care of my kids. So I took a turn. I took a turn. They definitely had me on the narcotics, a lot of narcotics, and when I realized it was times I couldn't get my medication and different things, it was the withdrawals was terrible. Going through things that I had to go through, I didn't want to be on medication no more, and getting talked about so much. Oh, she's a drug
Oh,
addict.
yes.
Yeah.
Getting out like, well, at least it's not cancer. Uh,
Oh, there you
that's
go.
me the most. Like, yes, it's not cancer, but if my kidneys fail, it can keep.
Thank you. But sometimes even a cancer kind of have a cure. You know what I'm saying? Like they heal cancer.
Yeah,
But how many times you hear them getting rid of, lupus?
none.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying. People try to compare, but you cannot compare it to always, we're different. Sometimes cancer just go through a phase. I'm just gonna be real. Lupus, we not going through, we gotta go through this. We
Yeah,
gotta go through this. We can't just go and get the radio. I'm not saying that that's the best thing that they do, but we can't just go in there and get the ready. What is it called? What they have to go do cancer treatment? We can't do that,
I
and
was
then it'll leave. No,
I,
that's
at one time it was chemotherapy
yeah,
drug. I
chemotherapy.
was on that,
Yes.
but I did
So
not have. But like a lot of people
mhm.
don't understand, and they want to judge, or they just you'll be fine. You look okay, stuff like that. Yeah, I might look
There you
okay.
go.
I feel okay.
Thank you. Like the feeling is totally different. And you do. I'm not gonna lie. You look great, but I could tell at the same time you're exhausted. I feel like you're exhausted. You're a beautiful person, but
Thank you.
I could tell that you were exhausted by me. I know what it feel like and look like. So if
And
they
I don't,
can't tell that you're tired, you
and I don't
know.
caffeine neither
I'm
at all.
sorry, say it again.
I don't drink caffeine at all. I can't.
Okay, I don't either. I stopped all of that. Like it took me time to get myself together, but I had to try to start helping myself because I feel like no matter what medications I was on, no matter what the doctors was doing, like it just wouldn't get me to where I want to be. It definitely. So let me see. What are some of the most common symptoms you experience and how do they affect your daily activity?
Okay, the most where I feel it is in my hands, down my back. And then I have with a IgG3. A lot of people, I don't know if they know this, but your glands will swell, and you'll have trouble talking, and you have to take antibiotics after antibiotics. The steroids, just don't even affect it. It don't seem like it, but
Yeah.
that's hard, and you feel sometimes off balance or whatever. So,
It almost sounds like something another lupus warrior was talking about yesterday. She had problems with her esophagus. I don't know what she called it, but it almost sounds like what you're speaking of.
yeah, I'll say is like right in here where the glands are.
You said it's well.
And they're probably the size, I would say, of, I'm trying to think, the size of uh, grapes, like the size of grapes. And you
Yeah.
don't feel them. Yeah.
Wow. See, everybody, go through different type of symptoms with lupus, and it definitely affects you. Are you able to work or
I'm disabled.
okay, yes. Disabled. Okay. So what are some of the common misconceptions about lupus that you would like to address?
I would like to address that it don't only affect with you having lupus, it also affects your nervous system. If you get too nervous, you can, out of the blue, have a spell, you know, that will hit you also,
True.
you know, and the shaking, like I'm just
Mhm.
shaking for no reason right now, you know. I don't know if you can see it, but
When you move, I can see it. I
oh
definitely see it.
yeah.
Yes. Um, and it's not a good feeling. And if you don't mind, what age, around what age range? You don't have to say exact age right now, but I'm just trying to see, like within lupus, everybody age that I'm.
I started. I got diagnosed about 3 years ago, but I was around 9 or 10 when I started seeing it. I don't think that they had
Mm-hmm.
doctors like they do now. I have
Right.
doctors right now. Well, actually, two of them that are,
Mm-hmm.
and they will sit and talk to you. Where these other doctors are just wanting the money and want you out their way.
You're right. A lot of doctors do want money. Do you have to go to like a pain doctor, or I know we have to go like different doctors. So, like, what all doctors do you have to go to?
I
Go
got.
to
I don't go to a regular doctor. I go to only a lupus doctor for my lupus.
rheumatologist. Yes.
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 Um.
Okay. Why do you believe it's important to raise awareness about lupus, and what do you think are the key messages that need to be shared?
The key messages for me to share is to always believe
Mm-hmm.
that you can keep going even on the days that you feel like you can't. There's you can give like I'm doing now. Like if
Yes.
someone now got diagnosed,
Mm-hmm.
you might be helping them by, you know, because at first
Yes.
diagnosed, to be honest, I did not want to live.
It
And
still have my moments sometimes. I understand.
me too.
I definitely understand. The pain will make you feel that way, and when you first get diagnosed with lupus, you don't know like what you you got to start all over for real. You got to relearn like everything you thought you knew.
Yeah, like where some of your people, like your friends, family, and you know where they can go swimming. I'm out there. I think it was last year, and
Mhm.
an umbrella, and everybody was just looking, and I'm like, oh my god, I look like a dummy.
Yes, that's how I feel. I thought about that last year. I didn't think about it in the past, but last summer I took my umbrella outside. You know, I was doing my little video or whatever on lupus, but I'm like, how people gonna look at me if I go in public, you know, with this umbrella? But because it did keep the shade down, you know, the sun, because we can't have the sun affecting us like that. So sometimes
Um,
we gotta do what we gotta
I,
do.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, you go. I just said we gotta do what we gotta do.
But it's just so embarrassing because you
It
know
is.
whispering or whatever, and you just want to turn around and be like, look, I got lupus, whatever.
Right. I got you on that. Like, seriously. That's like with anything. Even sometimes I may have to use my cane here and there, or the walk I used to have to use. Like, my fiance don't really care for me doing all that because he feel like he not gonna, I'm not gonna get handicapped, you know, like I understand, you know, exactly where you coming from. When I first got with him, like he been like threw that stuff out. I used to have a chair for the tub that I could sit on and everything. Now
Yeah.
at a time like this, like a couple weeks ago, for real, I needed that chair and that tub, and I was like, he need to go get me another chair. You know, because I need it. Sometimes we need it. I'm not saying we have to just use it every single day, but some things we have to do what we got to do in order to survive and keep kicking. Um, so sometimes if in the middle of the night, I may need my cane to get up because my feet hurt so bad. I don't want to fall. I mean, I might need to go to the bathroom at least till I warm up till my feet start feeling a little bit better. Till I start taking my supplements or whatever. You know, some people have to take their medications, but it's definitely like it's a lot that we have to go through with that. So, why do
Like,
you believe? I'm sorry, you about to say something.
it feels like you have electricity going through your feet and your hands and stuff like that. That's the best way for me to say it or whatever.
Yes, or like
And,
pins and needles, or
I've had needles stuck in my back. I've had 5 IVs at one time. You name it, it's been done.
yes. So how many medications are you on right now?
I am on, let's see, 4.
Okay. That's not too bad, That's definitely not too bad.
But I'm supposed to be on more, but I'm just
I'm
taking.
sure.
Taking.
I agree with you. I think that was one of the problems when they put me on so many medications instead of just, let me just no more than about 2 to 3 at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So why do you believe it's important to raise awareness about lupus, and what do you think are the key messages that need to be shared?
For me and for other people, the key message is to find the right doctor if you have the symptoms of
Yeah.
lupus. If you get sick being in the sun, go straight to the doctor. If you start passing out, go to the doctor. It doesn't matter. Um, you need to have A test done, uh, and stuff. And I have a foggy memory or whatever sometimes
Yes.
and stuff. That's why I've kind of distanced myself from people because I don't want them seeing me
Seeing.
out and and I don't want them worried. This is actually the first time I've ever said everything like this, but everybody needs to know it. You know,
Yes.
people that's going through it daily, and some people that might be going through it and does not know that they have it. My voice is hoarse right now.
Yes. Okay. That's definitely some great reasons. Definitely awareness of our this lupus, because some people may have it and don't know, go through years without knowing what's wrong with them. Some people too scared, to step out. They don't know what's going on. When I knew something was wrong with me in 2012, and I kept going to the doctors. They were trying to tell me I was crazy. Well, my doctor actually thought I was crazy. He had to write me a letter and apologize to me. It took an eye doctor to find out I had autoimmune disease. Not the doctor I was going to at the time. It took an eye doctor, and I was at work on a computer stream. I was doing my telecommunications for Sprint, and out of nowhere, I started seeing like cobwebs in my eyes, and I'm like, "What's going?" I know I ain't going crazy, but I see wiggly lines. Oh,
Mine.
is can you hear me? You can't hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. But I was seeing look like cobwebs in my eyes, like wiggly lines, and I was getting up at times, going to the bathroom. I wasn't supposed to just get up anytime. We only had little small breaks we take, but during them moments, I'm like, let me go to the bathroom, put water on my face, you know, hoping that'll help. Go back, sit down. I'm seeing them still. So that whole day. So I was like, during that time, I didn't have like medical insurance. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna go to the eye doctor and like I just need some glasses and see what see if they could find something near. I didn't know what I was doing, but I said I'm just gonna go to the eye doctor and get my eyes checked. So I did that. I did have to pay or whatever, but when I did that, the lady, I'm glad at the same time they had to dilate my eyes.
Mm.
Glad they did that because at first they didn't do it, but when they did it, that's when they was already see all the blood clots in the back of my eyes. And she was like, if I didn't get here, actually that could have killed me. And it's crazy. And she was trying to hurry up and rush me to see another eye doctor, one like in a higher position or whatever, the
They're
that know
hard.
what they're doing. So, yeah, that I think I had to go a few days later. It was fit to be that weekend, so I can go toward the weekend. But just imagine how nervous and scared I was. I had to wait till the next week, and by the time I got there, it went away. It was gone. Like, and that normally don't happen. So I know there was nobody, nothing but the grace of God. Because I was like, I was scared, but it was it was the blood. My eyes was blood shot red in the back, not in the front, you couldn't see in the back, but behind my head. And they knew it was autoimmune disease, so that's when I had to get scheduled for a rheumatologist. That's also when my doctor sent me a letter apologizing because he thought I was crazy. And he thought like I was complaining about so many different things. Like I didn't understand. I might say this hurt, something else hurt. I might complain about feminine problems because I was having like I did get diagnosed with endometriosis, which is a feminine problem, PCOS.
Yes, I got that
You
too.
know, I got diagnosed with so many. I got fibromyalgia.
Me too.
You know, it's the list like goes on. So when people look at, we don't just have lupus. We have, lupus bring on multiple
Hmm.
problems.
And I have to massage my hands because they start hurting even when I'm not doing nothing.
I know. I do. Mine hurt more worse when I start to lay down at night. Like I feel it in my spine now, from my like up in here, and my hands feel like it just get numb. I have to start moving them so they won't get so stiff.
And sometimes my eyeball feels like it wants to jump out. I don't understand that.
Wow, wow, that's deep. That's
I got diagnosed with high blood pressure,
me
um,
too.
200.
That's what definitely made me change my lifestyle after that because I had my son at 6. I mean, I had my son, and I was already overweight. I was like over 200 pounds, and that's not great on my bones. Then it was giving me steroids and all that, which made me worse during them times and not being able to work. So that weight picked up on me very quickly. And after I had my son, I was told I wasn't really supposed to have kids, but just by the grace of God that I had my son, my girls was already older. Like he's like 12-year difference from my youngest daughter. So I knew I had to do something. My oldest ones, they can do some things on their own, but I knew if I had a baby, he wouldn't be able to. So I was like getting diagnosed with God in my shoulder. I couldn't carry my son for real. I couldn't carry the car seat. I couldn't do like hardly none of that. And I was like, I got to do something. So I got up and started fighting. I started getting in the gym. I
Pe-
started changing.
People be surprised what you can't hardly lift or carry.
What you say?
Hmm.
You got that right. And I was just in the gym still, like since August. I've been in the gym up until like a month ago. I haven't been able to be in the gym like that because of my hands. I can't like lift certain things, so I don't want to go up there and hurt myself. Um, it's it's weird. I was doing okay. I mean, I'm not gonna say my best, but I was doing okay. It went like this every day, but now I don't have a day of relief for it. I may think I have relief for a moment, like right now I feel okay, but let me try to start doing something with my hands. And
Hmm. Like hot water makes my hands
you said it make it what?
burn like it's like I'm sitting on.
Ooh. I do have moments like that. If I hit something, like if I hit something to anything with my hands, I feel that pain, like something burning in like in my hands, and I can't stop it. I ain't gonna lie. One day in the past, or my one of my kids, or whatever, they'll do something. I end up hitting with my hands. Man, I paid for it worse than they did.
Hmm.
So it's things that I definitely can't do, and so I definitely feel you when you feel that heat in your hand. I'm I don't feel alone. I'm not saying I'm glad that you got anything. I don't feel alone because I'm like, why are my hands doing it? Do it like swell up. Do it.
My hands swell
Mm-hmm.
and bust open.
Bust open. My lord. Oh wow.
My
I'm
feet
wow. Your feet do what?
swells,
Yes, mine do too. Like my ankles.
and I look like I'm pregnant sometimes.
Wow.
Have
And
no.
you look so small. I wouldn't even see. You look small, so I wouldn't even. Now my stomach. That's one thing I have had my. It always be my stomach. Everything else to be small, but my stomach like it definitely pudge out there. So yes, I can cope with you on that. So the next question is, okay, I'm sorry. How was your support system? Has they played a good role in your journey with lupus?
I've put a little bit out on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
but to be honest, I feel like nobody cares, you know, truly. And I only have one kid, and I'm 37 or 38. I can't remember my own age. That's bad.
I be like that. I'm 38. Yeah, so I be.
And I can't have more kids, and all of that. So that's a big deal to me too.
Yeah. How old is your child?
My she's fixing to be 22. I got a grandbaby. But like earlier when I was talking
Mhm.
about when I had physical therapy over here learning me how to walk, they had to use a belt, and the belt caught me because I was falling into the floor.
Wow. Definitely have to. We have to be careful. Whew, it's a lot. And to hear, like you said, you won't be able to have another child dealing with this. It's hard. It's hard because it's hard trying to take care of my 6-year old, and I still have to do things. I still have to help bathe him and different things. So it's not easy. I would, tell anybody, make sure you really got help because it's it's not easy. But he keep me going.
Yeah,
I feel like I have a purpose to keep going because during that time I just lost my purpose in a way. Like I didn't see no hope of me getting back up because of the pain. You
exactly.
know. Yes, but what coping strategies or self care practice have you found helpful in managing your condition?
Um, I put on book for mental health or whatever. I put on there for people to be strong, and I try to give advice.
Yes.
And actually, when I put it on there, it's how I'm feeling, but I make
Hmm.
sure no one else is feeling the same way.
Right. Yes. We always trying to tell others, we always trying to help others because we know what it feels like to be in pain. We don't want others to suffer or go through certain things. That's why I teach about eating right, what we put in our bodies, what we put on our bodies. I definitely teach that because I know what it feels like to go through certain things. If you're healthy right now, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself because in the future it could be worse.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have lupus, we all gonna get older one day. And I feel like at times I feel like an 80-year-old person. So
Yes,
if
definitely.
they start doing something now, they probably won't have to be on a cane in the future. They probably won't have to have brittle bones and going through a lot. So I definitely like to preach a message because it's nothing to play with.
And
So,
when I
uh
was pregnant with my daughter at 5 months, I was already 3 centimeters dilated.
5 months. Wow. So, wow.
But she made it.
Mhm.
And then after that, I found out I had holes in my uterus. So yeah.
So lupus definitely a part like in our overall, like everywhere in our body, because it can affect our organs, our skin, our hair. Like
Yes, my hair it's falling out. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional again.
I definitely understand. Like my hair have fallen out, and I cried like a baby. I cried like I cried for a long time. I remember I walked around with bald spots in my head for about four months or so until I was able to. I just went all the way natural. I didn't put anything else in my head. I made my own products because my head used to burn out. I didn't understand. Like my scalp was burning, like it was on fire.
Yeah.
And now I, I haven't been going through that anymore since I use my own products, and I don't put chemicals or anything like that in my hair. I can't even use like other people's shampoo. I can't do none of that. I have to make my own. And so it finally started growing back. My hair had finally grew back, but at first I didn't think it was growing back. It's on my hair alopecia. So it was. I know what it feels like losing your hair.
And the bad thing about lupus,
Yes.
it affects your skin, joints, just like you said, kidneys, heart,
Yeah.
organ, like my kidneys. It
Yeah.
it attacks the body instead of protecting it. Flares that come and go. You know,
Yes. I used to keep UTIs, and
that's
I used to keep it, and I knew if I didn't like do something to change it, that I would be, you know, my kidneys would be failing because I stayed in the ER for kidney infections or sinus infections. Like I have real bad sinus infections, stuff with the dryness with Sjogren's, which is the other autoimmune disease. But them kidneys, they ain't nothing to play with. That ain't nothing to play with. I
I,
used to drink a lot of sweet teas back then, but I had to cut all that out.
I can't even stand up for a long period of time without my back starting to hurt. You know,
Hmm.
I'm back here like massaging it when I'm trying to stand.
That's what one of my
Always
biggest problems, my back. That was like one of my major symptoms back then, like my chronic back pain. Like it, I was okay for a while. It's starting back now, but it's like in my upper, like with my neck and my shoulders and stuff. I don't know. I don't know if it's like the fibromyalgia also, because the fibromyalgia had them little certain points that they pressure points. So I'm thinking, but I just wish it all go away.
need
I definitely wish it would go away. Yeah, I wish we all had a cure. Like we wouldn't have to go through this. The only, good thing about it, sometimes it can make us a better person. Um, I think it definitely it make you be more caring. Think about life more. You'll take different strategies than you have in the past. We have to
yeah,
live almost like every day like it's our last. But careful wise, not living on the edge, but just making sure every moment we don't regret it. We we have to live with purpose
yeah.
every day we wake up, because some people don't wake back up. You
Mm.
know. Yes. So
There's some that don't make it.
thank you. And I hate that. Like I hate to see that. Are there any organizations or communities that you would recommend for people to seek out if they have lupus or if they
Uh,
think they have lupus?
that Lupus Foundation.
Yes, lupus.org. That is one.
Yeah,
Okay. Yes. And sometimes you may have them somewhere, some organizations, some people that have lupus get online. Of course, like lupus groups, that is definitely one that it had definitely helped me, especially at first, because I didn't feel like nobody could understand what I was going through. But when I found them lupus groups, I felt more back a part of the world again a little bit.
yeah. You felt kind of like you was alive again.
Yes, because around you, nobody understand you. But you get online and you got these group of people with lupus, like, okay, this is my
They,
community. Yeah, so it helped me out a whole lot. It helped me have my life again. Um, so how can listeners get involved in lupus advocacy or contribute to any type of help, research, people seeking support and information about lupus? Yeah. Okay, I think I kind of no, that's the second one. That was asking how can listeners get involved in lupus advocacy. If you know, if you don't, you know, you can skip past that one. Um,
uh,
but
listen to podcasts too.
yes, like I didn't think about this at first. It just so happened another podcast I was trying to do was called I
And
wanted women
goal,
empowerment.
always
Mm-hmm.
set a goal.
Say it again.
Set a goal for yourself.
Yes, goals. Now, yes, because back then I didn't really know my future, no plans. But once I started setting goals, that definitely helped. But I wasn't even planning on doing a podcast on lupus. I didn't even think about that. It just so happened that my other podcast kind of failed me. Somebody kind of ran off with my idea that I was doing. And I
Mm.
just thought about it. Lupus Awareness Month is coming up, and I gotta do something about that because I kind of got away from like the lupus groups for a minute. It was painful to watch people go through what they go through at the same time, in it a little too much and watching them pass away. I
Yes.
didn't want to see that every day, you know. So I did stray away a little bit and tried to get myself together. But now I'm back, you
Hmm.
know, but in a positive way,
Yes.
and trying to do something as far as help, like um, people to hear our stories. So
Yeah.
we need that, bring more awareness. So I would definitely think that it's gonna help future wise. You know, it's gonna help somebody,
Yes.
even if it's one person.
Hmm.
So okay, what are your hopes for the future regarding lupus and the research and treatment advancements?
I'm hoping that they find a cure, but I don't think they. If they found one, I don't know if I would take it.
I feel like, to be honest, people, some of them know what the business is, but they want to profit off of sick people. It's just how I feel, because God said it's a cure for everything. Like, it's a cure out there. That's what I believe. And I feel like, well, I'm not gonna say everybody, you know, but a lot of them want to profit off of us. They keep us sick. They continue to give us these medications because we have to go to them every month to pay these, you know, pay for our medication. Doctor, they not
Yeah.
giving us something that's gonna heal us. They just giving us something that's gonna make us cope for the moment, and then we gotta keep taking up 5 milligrams. And that's the problem I had. Like, when they keep trying to up your dose and it just don't work no more, to effectiveness of the medicine, and it's a lot. But
Yes. And my man, we've been together 25 years,
oh wow, that's a long time.
and he'll be like, "Okay, vampire," and it's on nerves.
Yes. Oh, it's good to have somebody by your side, though. Definitely.
Um,
So, go ahead.
he's helped me get dressed some mornings because waking up, I can't hardly get out of bed.
I feel you.
He's helped me put my clothes on. He's been
Mhm.
supportive, big time.
That's good. Like, my fiance, he take my son to school. Like, he been taking him to school every day lately. So it definitely helped me, because now only really I barely don't want to move out the bed, but I have to get up earlier than what I, once did. I have to get up early to make sure I'm getting myself up first, get myself together, and then get my son up to and now my fiance had to put on his clothes, help him put on his clothes too, because I can't like button his shirt. It's I can't hardly pull it over here. I was able to at one point in time, but I'm not able to right now, and so it's kind of hard. It's,
My hands get weak.
yes, my hand's been weak, and that's what's been going on. I can't even close it all the way for real.
Hmm.
Can't make a full fist. Mine's definitely been weak, and it's been swelling like daily. So, and my son, I think he's understanding now that his mom is sick,
Hmm.
because he keeps seeing me put on these arm braces and everything, knee braces or ankle braces, and he just, I hope you feel better. He come up to kiss me, let me, what I'm saying, every day now, and I tell him I'm gonna be all right, because I don't want him worried. But I can definitely tell that it's affecting him in a way, because he like, but he's loving with it, and I'm thankful for that. I feel like he's definitely gonna help me out when he get older. Yes. So, you have any final thoughts? Like, what message would you like to leave our listeners with about living with lupus?
Always keep faith. Um, Show people, that you can do it.
Yes.
Your ground,
Yes.
and don't make and if somebody makes you feel sad or bad about yourself, speak up and tell them, hey, something. I don't know.
You're right, because that's a big stress already can make us worse, and we don't need the stress.
Mm.
And I definitely used to let people play in my head and say things and do things, and it made me even worse. It made my lupus worse, my sickness worse. And I feel like people know that, especially those that kind of know you around you. They kind of know, and so definitely have to limit our stress and don't worry about what people say or do. they have problems. It's something wrong with them. It's something wrong with them. So we definitely have to know that.
But it is very embarrassing trying to go swimming and you have the world looking at you.
Yeah. Yes.
Or you go outside and you're just have a hat on, and
Mm-hmm.
you're looking around trying to make sure nobody's outside. You're gonna be making fun of.
Yes.
You
And then I know I used supposed to keep on them certain type of hats to keep the shade out. And I used to be too embarrassed to, wear it. I used to be too embarrassed to do things. So it's times that I won't, because I don't want everybody to, see me a certain type of way. I may get on here a certain way, but behind closed doors.
You're living a certain way.
Right. Like, oh, this gonna be like, oh, this a wig. This gonna be out. I gotta get comfortable. With Lupus, you gotta be as comfortable as possible for real. Definitely. So I definitely appreciate you for coming on here and spreading awareness. I definitely hate that we have to go through this situation, but I'm thankful that we're able to get together, spread this awareness, and let others know that we can, we just have to get the help that we need. We can't give up hope. We can't give up faith. We got to keep fighting. We got to fight for the next generation, the next people. It could be somebody in your one of your kids. Anybody could get it later. So we got to stay strong.
We for our kids, that's what thing kept me going and all of that and not give up was for my grandbaby and my daughter, my man,
Yes.
my mom. My dad passed away from liver
Sorry
cancer.
to hear
Uh,
that.
so
Yes. I apologize. My condolences. About your
oh,
father.
it was 2008, but it still sticks with me.
Yeah, I know. So regardless of how long, I'm give me one moment, son. I'm coming.
Oh,
Yes. But I definitely appreciate you. Hopefully soon in the future we can do this again. Maybe a different topic, maybe to be, I don't know when this the month of awareness for fibromyalgia or whatever, any other condition. We would definitely hope to get you back on here and to continue to spread awareness. So I thank you for being brave, because
thank
everybody, yes, everybody can't come on camera. Everybody, some people can't. And I'm thankful for those who can and those who want to, So I appreciate you. And
I was
I, yeah.
when I was getting a butterfly rash and using the,
Mhm.
I would not hardly go around nobody because it looked like a sunburn and it was not a sunburn.
Yes, that
I
butterfly.
did a lot of people.
I know. I've definitely seen it. I really haven't had no big problem with it. I do think I had like a light rash, but it wasn't nothing major. But I do see some people in the worst predicaments, and sometimes I have to be grateful that I'm not the worst, because I've seen worse. I definitely seen people suffer worse than what I am. So I had to be thankful for every moment. Yes, and I hope you find comfort. You know, find what works for you and keep the faith.
I hope you do too.
Thank you. You have a blessed evening and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.